when you talk about the Indy circuit and you marry it up with the Ray FF1600 Formula Ford, you get an understanding of just what makes the all-important track a reality. This is a cathedral of racing right now, a gauntlet thrown in 6 turns in less than 2 kilometers, and it has legendary name after legendary name after legendary name on its list. Winners of the past include Roberto Moreno, Johnny Herbert, Roland Ratzenberger, Eddie Irvine in the mix, Jan Magnussen, Mark Webber, Jenson Button, Anthony Davidson, and you can even look to the likes of a Nick Tandy for great racers with great results at this track. This, though, is where you put the new generation of skill to the test. This is the RTA Virtual Motorsports FF1600 Championship. There are just 6 rounds left, and it is here at Brands Hatch Indy where the table gets set. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Global SimRacing Channel. My name is Jake Sperry, and alongside me in the commentary booth is Craig King. On the cameras directing tonight is Daniel Costello, and he is using the cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Now to Brands Hatch, a circuit which opened the championship overall in a full-length layout, but when you shorten everything down, the margins get a little bit finer and the moves get a little bit more desperate. Let's take a look at what makes Brands Hatch Kent's beautiful crown jewel with this GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Brands Hatch. When popular British racing circuits get listed, this track just to the southeast of London often finds itself near the top. The extensive history of the venue has meant that many famous names in racing have ran laps here. But the stats make it sound deceptively simple, with the Grand Prix and Indy course having 9 and 6 turns respectively. Laps might be short, but they're also fast, and the corners are often a challenge to get right. As you'd expect, that means passing is quite difficult, with most drivers leaning towards sending one up the inside at Druids. You might occasionally see overtakes into the first corner, Paddock Hill Bend, but the blind apex and gigantic drop in elevation make that an errand for only the brave. Many of the corner names pay tribute to famous British drivers from the past decades, such as Hill, Surtees, Sterling, and Clark. In fact, the fame extends beyond the drivers, but to the cars as well, with this place seeing everything from Formula 1 to Formula 4, touring cars, GT cars, motorcycles, and even rallycross. It's a gorgeously scenic venue where lush trees envelop the back half of the course, while the front half is mostly encapsulated inside a natural amphitheater. This makes it extremely popular with race fans who can see a majority of the circuit from many seating positions. With a great location near a major metropolitan hub, a spectator-friendly layout, and an experience that challenges drivers, you can see why this place remains abuzz with racing to this day.
Six rounds, 6 race meetings. It's a case of where you've got 6 races to go and prove yourself in this championship. 3 races tonight, 3 races at the championship finale. But this is a circuit which is going to be all about positioning here tonight, Craig, where you consider that overtaking is just a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, by the way, welcome to Brands Hatch. Welcome back, Jake, to Brands Hatch. Yeah, we're going over something brief. This Indy layout, named after the series that came here, this circuit layout was actually used when they made the first modification back in 1954. Got revitalized later down the line. 1.944 kilometers, 6 turns. Hey, 6 is the number tonight. It removes Hawthorne down to Sterling. To add something different, McLaren, just after Surtees there. It gives you that little left-right mini chicane. Now, again, this is Brands Hatch. They're still going to have to deal with that elevation change going down Paddock Hill, and some drivers have slid around here during practice and qualification. And of course, you've then got to go down the Graham Hill straight. But of course, as Jake was saying, overtaking here is going to be tricky. And the key thing for these guys tonight is going to be sliding the car. It's a hot track temp. We'll get into that later. But if you slide these tires, yes, the car likes to slide a bit. Too much sliding, you start to overheat the tires and you lose the grip. That is going to set up some of these drivers to make some really interesting moves here. And it is a track that can go too wide. We've seen numerous too wide moments in this series, and outside of this series on this layout, we have seen a lot of them. So it's going to be quite interesting. And of course, this is actually a smaller track really than Knockhill. And they only have one overtaking straight on this. So the drivers are going to have that sense of urgency tonight as well. It's moving day, Jake. That's what they call it in golf. Who can sink or swim in that championship? Who can be swimming with confidence after tonight?
Championship or championships, because there are two to fight for. The overall championship is on screen right now. Jason Cooper has control, 57 points to the good, but we still haven't applied the one drop round. That gets applied after tonight. Here at Brands Hatch Indy, his 57-point lead over Peter Dempsey is still going to be something worth keeping in mind. With Jordan Kelly third, just 6 points back, Jason Smith pretty much out of contention for the championship now at 97 points adrift. Sean McClement, his nearest challenger, is going to be pretty good. He got 3 podiums last time out. He's going to look to charge. And the ever-consistent Lawrence de Sosua in 6th position looks like he's making his first non-start of the season here tonight. Chris Knox finds himself 7th with Keith Dempsey, a former Z-Tech winner over the course of the Formula Ford Festival that's gone on. He's in 8th, dropping down with his championship runs over and done with for the season. Sean McGoldrick and Rory O'Shea tied in 9th position to end out the top 10 overall in the field, Craig.
Yeah, and a quick note as well on the B Championship. We don't have the standings here, but John McDonald's leading by 20 points over Dave Collier. McDonald is not here tonight. This will be his drop round. That's going to be interesting. He's going to ask Dave, can he lead the B guys and get the full 90 points in the B series? And then it will be all up to John to try and match that next week to seal that championship.
Well, Dave Collier is going to have a bit of work because Isaac Canto is here in this field, and he will have to be thinking about how many points he can grab. Here's your race details, though. 3 races of 3 different lengths. Each has their own particularity with it. Race 1 is a 15-minute grid set by qualifying, which we're in right now. Race 2, just the 10 minutes, and the grid is set by race number 1. And race 3 is 20 minutes worth of racing, but you put the top 8 from race 2, and you've done reversed it. You put 8th in first and first in 8th, and that's how you get through the racing. Drive-through penalty at 15 instants, disqualification at 20. And some people who are watching this, Craig, are thinking that this is going to be Jordan Kelly's day out there on track, and thinks that number 99 is going to have 3 wins for it. We've got a minute and a half left in qualifying. We'll jump to it now. It's the Jason Smith show. He's on top, but we're on board with Jason Cooper right now as he dives down Paddock Hill Bend, looking for a big lap time to jump from 3rd to 2nd.
Yep, he's going to have to find it right now. Behind him is Jason Smith, of course. And then Jason Cooper there with Chris Knox ahead. Look at that track temp I was talking about. 39 Celsius, 103 Fahrenheit. Wide goes Chris Knox. That's going to be an aborted lap. And is he going to have time to do one more lap? He doesn't get on the grass very well. This is McLaren. Look at the left and then look at that sweeping right back onto the Clark curve. It's a longer right-hander now compared to what they would do on the normal layout. He's going to have a run here. He will not have a chance at another lap time. And I don't think he's done it. He's slowing down because he's got first place.
48.316. He did improve to Jason Cooper, but not enough for position. Jason Smith slowed down. Jordan Kelly remains in 4th position, but he's going to be out of time heading to the line because we are in heat format. So if you're in the wrong position at the wrong place, you're not going to be able to get that next lap in, and you're fighting towards the line. Maybe Ronan Doherty has a chance over the line to improve. Remains 6th fastest at this point in time. So good work from the number 29 to find those places. But as far as it goes, they are going to be really short because we are now out and the grid is now set. And race 1 is going to be crucial. The 19 drivers that are here today will take to the starting grid, and it's Jason Smith who is on pole position, a 48.155, and we'll have Peter Dempsey along for company on the front row. Jason Cooper and Jordan Kelly will house row 2 as Chris Knox starts in 5th position, and Ronan Doherty, we saw in the dying embers of qualifying, they're in 6th position. Sean McClements and Sean McGoldrick will reignite their battle of the Seans. They have the 4th row of the grid all to themselves, with Rory O'Shea in 9th and Ian May rounding out the top 10.
As we get to the second row, we've got Isaac Canto taking 11th with Peter McCann beside him. Gandor will take 13th position and Dave Collier will be 14th. That's going to be crucial if we can get past Canto. Gary Cockerand will be 15th and Barra Hodgson will be 16th. And then Albert Reed is the last of the timed qualified in 17th, with Graham Melvin in 18th and Tony Stack in 19th. Both did not set a qualifying time.
That means that they will be ordered by their iRating as per the iRacing official system, and they will have to be very, very patient with the way that they go about their business. There is that track temperature, 39 degrees centigrade, 103 Fahrenheit, and it's blustery here from the southwest here in Kent, the southeast of England at this point in time is swirling about with anticipation. Now, this is going to be another thing to keep in mind. It's banked on this front stretch. Expect the drivers on the top to migrate down the circuit, use gravity to their advantage, which might put them at a slight disadvantage for grip off of the line, but gravity should help them balance out what they can't get off the start. So watch out for that. One of the peculiarities here of Brands Hatch. We saw a world-class jump start here last time we were here. Not so much at this point. Put 15 minutes on the clock. Put round 1 of tonight, race 1 of tonight, into play, because the green flag drops and we are underway. Peter Dempsey falling into line through the first 6-7 positions. A big scrap in the middle. Defensive line taken then from Sean McClements against Sean McGoldrick. Not much doing. Down Paddock Hill Bend and attacking Druids then for the first time. No looks they go through. Jordan Kelly trying to go around the outside to pick the place up. And you know what? He is not going to do it. He's going to have to stay in line as they run down to the Graham Hill Bend.
Run down to the Graham Hill Bend, and McClements did get past Dotterhy, and he had to make a few moves to try and keep himself going. This is the first time they will go through into McLaren's here. It'll be interesting to see who takes the better line here. Who's going to get this? Will Dempsey look for a move? There's been a swipe straight away, and it's the 99, and he just backs everybody up.
He does, and now he's going to have to scramble through the grass to get back on circuit. Must be careful on his rejoin, and joins at the back of the field. Disasters, they are squabbling into turn 1. Ronan Doherty having to defend here from Rory O'Shea, who tags tyres, with Isaac Canto having a great run at the front of the field. In front of that, there's a position change as well, because that's Chris Knox trying to attack Sean McClements, and the front 3 find themselves away, and this is what happens when you squabble.
When you have a little bit of fight, you've got to make sure you make these moves stick. It's very tough to make these moves stick, and that is what's happening here at the moment. McClements gets by everybody, but now all of a sudden he's going to have to try and catch up to the top 3, who are just absolutely chilling in this lovely British summer heat at the moment. Meanwhile, behind, Chris Knox is trying to find a way through. He's going to have to try and find a run. It's going to be tough, though, with that banked straight.
And also looking for a run on the front stretch is Peter Dempsey. Jason Cooper with the fastest lap of the race. You don't get anything for that. And down the hill, back up it once again, trying to make the move in toward turn 2 of Druids. Not happening out there on track. And this patience is going to have to be worked every single time they go out there and race. You have to find patience. You have to find opportunities. Speaking of which, Chris Knox finds himself off the road, and now Rory O'Shea finds himself in a good battle. He jumps ahead then, along with Isaac Canto here, with Ian May trying to get into position 2. This is brilliant stuff, and round will go McCann in the background.
Yeah, Peter McCann taking a little bit too hot into the Clark curve there. was unable to make that stick. But meanwhile, Sean McGoldrick, he's looking to try and see what he can do. Lost one place at the start here. He's trying to find a way through Kanto. Meanwhile, up ahead, there's a spin. Rowan Doherty has gone off. That's the smoke you just saw in the distance. So that pack at the middle pack there has all of a sudden, they've now lost some numbers. Meanwhile, you've got, as you see, just there in the gravel, waiting to go. You've still got that battle now between 7th and 9th that we were looking at just prior.
That's a real shame for Rowan Doherty. He was on the back of the group there that he was with, and that suddenly went wrong. Sean McGoldrick then, with a search up the inside, turns to the outside. It's a long outside line if you're stuck out there, so you have to be a little bit brave going through this corner to get the power down early. And McGoldrick fighting with understeer through the corner, very nearly brings Ian May back into position just behind them. Barra Hodgson moves through on Jamal Gandor. That a change of position, but here's the look into turn 1. And thank you very much, Sean McGoldrick, says Isaac Kanto with nothing to do about it.
Yeah, Kanto's going to try and make a response, and that's not easy to do. You cannot send this car very well because of the fact that you go too hard. You start to lock those tires, and you do have that slide. We have seen a couple of drivers already make the slide here, so it's going to be McGoldrick trying to hold on here. But look at the run. If he does this again, it's going to be tough for Kanto around the outside of Clark. But if he's ahead here with a nose, he might just be able to. And I say that I've cursed him, haven't I?
That was a big kick of oversteer there for Isaac Kanto, and that's what caused him troubles going through the corner. If he had that on lock, he was good. Jason Smith again, fastest lap of the race, a 48.517. Another look into Paddock Hill. Kanto on the wrong end of it. Ian May finding the move now up into 8th position, up to Druids on the brakes. Yes, sir. No, sir. 3 bags full, sir, trying to find the pass, and he's now just about holding it here with Kanto trying on the outside and spinning.
Caught the grass. He tried to open up the corner and go for a move there to try and see if he can get it go. Almost catchy with Graham Melvin there, but unfortunately Kanto's day has gone from bad to worse. At the front, though, everyone's just chilling. I mean, there's the 26, there's the 12, there's the 35. They're probably just there riding together like, what do you want to talk about? How was your day?
Yeah, this is very much a case of patience as Peter Dempsey now pushes hard through Paddock Hill Bend. Might have a search at Druid, still not yet with an overlap to make something happen. And I don't blame them for not wanting to push because they've only got a 2.4 second margin. That can be wiped out in about 2 laps. So you expect with about 2 minutes to go, they'll start going. Jordan Kelly is on the charge and he will make a move. That's on Dave Collier, of course, who all eyes on him today for the B Championship.
Yeah, all eyes on Dave Collier. And of course, with Kanto having that mistake, all of a sudden Collier does get a few of those points, just what he needs. Remember, they get the full points rotation. So they'll get 30 points for the winner, just like Jason Smith, if he won this, would get 30 points as well. Speaking of those guys at the front, you start to see that Dempsey was trying to look for a move. They almost locked tires. They do. And Jason Smith is having to defend it off there. Nice little save by both of them, and that is going to set up Peter Dempsey. I don't think that was his intention. It's a little bit of a bump to run.
They're going to lock again.
They're locking tires.
Oh, Jason Smith. Oh, he's throwing everything at it. And Peter Dempsey's going to try and come back with a little bit more. They're using all of the car available to them. And they are very, very fortunate that they're still in this race. Jason Cooper watching on pretty much with eyes through the fingers as he just thinks about this going, well, please don't take me and get involved in this at this moment in time. There they go once again on through clearways and get onto the front stretch once again. Searching once more is Jason Cooper. He'll have to look to the outside. It's outside again from Peter Dempsey, and again he almost taps the tyre at Paddock Hill.
It almost looks like he's trying to set up a move into Druids and just not realizing the gaps that they have, and he's just making those small mistakes at the moment. And all of a sudden, Dempsey, there's 8 minutes left. They're halfway through the race. It doesn't feel like it, but you just have to calm down for a moment. They're all in a good place here. If they keep battling now, though, everyone's going to catch up.
Yeah, everyone will. And look at that gap. It's now 0.8 of a second between Jason Cooper and Sean McClement. It's now a group of 5 at the front because they've been too busy squabbling. Also, something's happened out there for Jamal Gandor. He had a spin at Paddock Hill Bend, and he's brought Collier, Kanto, and McCann back into places now as they race in and around what will be now 11th places battle, or 10th places battle, I should say.
But at the same time, there's Kanto and there's Collier, and that's just what you want to see, because all of a sudden Kanto has a chance. We know the pace that Kanto has. If he can get past Dave Collier, this could be very crucial for the championship. They say championship implication. He's going to try and do it the long way round, and they collide. And Kanto keeps it together, and unfortunately Collier is off and with damage.
Well, he's managed to skirt through, and someone else who was off, there was incidents out there between Jordan Kelly and Graham Melvin out on circuit. So they too got themselves caught up, which is why positions are always changing in this race one. You have to be alert in these races if you want something to go your way. And for Jordan Kelly, his championship, if there was an attempt for him, is now slipping. Chris Knox with the fastest lap then of the race. He looks to close down on Sean McClements and move up into 4th position. Top 5 rushing through the Druids hairpin here. The big up to the top of the tree, back down around it, and then to Graham Hill Bend at turn number 3, out on track. This is an all-important group, and Jason Smith is now starting to just stretch his legs slightly. 0.4 of a second over Peter Dempsey. Does make you wonder how much damage to the front nose Peter Dempsey may have, or any sort of imperfections in the suspension.
Also, it may just be a little case of the tyres. Let's try and warm the tyres up, or overheating the tyres. Maybe also confidence as well. He's just got to be a little bit careful when he goes for these moves now. And again, a mistake from Dempsey. He might clip the gravel here. He does. That will allow Jason Cooper if he wanted to, but he won't. All of a sudden, it almost feels to me that Dempsey's overdriving just a little bit.
Well, he's trying to stay with Jason Smith, and he doesn't have the same tools of the trade as Jason Smith does, and not many sim racers do. You look at someone like Jason Cooper, he's one of the best in the world when it comes to sim racing. He has himself up there, racing against 9,000 iRacing drivers, and he challenges at every time. Jason Smith is out there teaching drivers a lesson. He's the most winningest driver this season so far. It's been the lack of appearances that have cost him his championship push, but he's still 4th in the championship, and this is why.
Consistency, consistency, consistency. Once you get winning, they just come. If you win one, you win two. It's that confidence, and that is just what Jason Smith is doing. But also, if you notice that the top 3 is starting to pull away from everybody, now that is something to pay notice to. Maybe they have realized that this might be better to hold their positions at the moment instead of trying to go for those moves that may drag everybody in.
The key here is that Peter Dempsey will only take 2 points out of Jason Cooper's championship if race 1 is to stay like this tonight at Brands Hatch. Remember, he's down those 57 points as Ian May finds himself now way down the order, losing a position there to Jordan Kelly, who jumps on back through. And Jordan Kelly, let's not forget, has had a pretty serious accident out there on circuit and is just trying to find a finish at this point. So he has a platform to work on in race number 2. That has been a big key to today's racing. And there's more troubles out there because I believe Sean McGoldrick has lost himself a little bit out there. Or sorry, I should say that Jamal Gandor is now a lap down. So it's Jamal Gandor who's lost himself some time as Isaac Canto finds himself then into play. And he races against Ronan Doherty, this for 11th.
Yeah, this for 11th. And this is also very important because if Canto can get this, he starts to pull away and tries to get more cars between him and Dave Collier. There's already 3 cars between them, but this could be very crucial for Canto. He's been an underrated driver because he has been up there sometimes, and the inconsistencies just show sometimes. He probably could be leading the championship, but just something always goes wrong. Because of his pace, he's wrong car, wrong time sometimes. And at the moment, he's just starting to slip away from Ronan Doherty. The skill difference on iRacing is 4K to 1.5K, so you can kind of understand.
You certainly can, but iRacing is not everything in terms of racing out there as Jason Cooper watches Peter Dempsey absolutely throw the car through the corners and knows the likes of Sean McClements is behind. Chris Knox is there as well in the mix. You have to push. Jason Smith is turning up the heat. He's now got 8.5 of a second in the back pocket just by the way he's been driving out there. And there goes Chris Knox in the Leighton House machine around, but saves it.
How many times have we seen this tonight? People just getting caught off by the hot temps. Just the way that elevation change goes. We're seeing more mistakes here this week than we did the first time we came to Brands Hatch. I think a lot of that is due to the heat. And also I think as well, the track state as well, they didn't rubber in the track as much as the drivers would have thought. And also they didn't have the drivers that would be practicing enough to put rubber down. That might have been the issue there. And that is why you're seeing so many different gaps. But meanwhile at the front, Jason Cooper still trying to find a way past Peter Dempsey, and he can't, and they're only going to have 3 laps to go.
Yeah, it is going to be 3 laps as Jason Cooper sets again the fastest lap of the race. Sees a twitch out of Peter Dempsey. He might decide that now's his time, but again, just needs an extra 50 meters if he wants to make the move on car 12 into Druids, and this is what you get out of this track. It's an old school feel, having to work laps in advance to find an overtake.
It's like chess, isn't it? You want to set yourself up. You make a move before a move before a move. You got to think about 5 steps ahead of the opposition, and that's just what you want here. And this is why I love Brands Hatch. You just never know what you're going to get around this track, just due to what the drivers are going to have to deal with. With 2 laps to go, now comes the desperation. If you're in those little battles like Ron Doherty's in at the moment, all of a sudden, this could be crucial. One mistake could cost you more than just 1 position.
That's Doherty up now into 9th position. McCann trying to make something happen of it at this stage. There is also Rory O'Shea and Sean McGoldrick, who are 6th and 7th out there on the road. That could also be interesting here with 2 laps to go. McCann figuring out whether he can fight back against Ronan Doherty, who takes the natural line, the out-to-in line here at Paddock Hill Bend, and really attacks well off the exit.
Gets a good attack, but I think a little clip at the dirt there will not help him. And all of a sudden, he is now on the back foot. These drivers are not getting the pull away to even try and make a move at Graham Hill Bend today. Something that I was expecting to see. But as white flag comes down, Jason Smith has just decided to pull away. And he's just let the other 3 cars behind him, just 4 cars even, decide to have a little bit of a battle on their own.
Here comes McGoldrick around the outside. Oh, they're going to tag wheels on entry here into Paddock Hill Bend. But on the exit, again, Rory O'Shea with just enough heavy defense comes into Druids, and it's a look around the outside that's not going to be fruitful there for Sean McGoldrick. He'll have a try here at Graham Hill Bend. It's defended again, and he's going to be shoved out wide through that section of road. For Jason Smith, it's going to be another race victory for him, and he has shown in a draft-dependent race he's got more power than what the draft could ever have. He will win by 1.3, and that around this track is a mile.
That is a big mile, and we start to see other drivers coming by. Nobody else making any moves at the moment. Can Pete McCann find a move past Ron Doherty? Because Dempsey, Cooper, McClements finished up their worst. There's a lap car by them, but Doherty will hold on to that P9. They are crucial points for Rohan, and as well, that will allow him to set himself up, hopefully maybe for a pole position for the final race.
Confirmation of the top 10 then here from race 1 tonight. Jason Smith, 15 minutes, 28 seconds, picks it up by 1.3 over Peter Dempsey. Jason Cooper will finish off in 3rd ahead of Sean McClements and Chris Knox, 4th and 5th. Rory O'Shea will finish 6th with 7th belonging to Sean McGoldrick. Then it's Barra Hodson, Ronan Doherty, and Peter McCann rounding out the top 10, which brings us then to the second race, just the 10 minutes available to them, and it is a lot quicker, these 10 minutes, in terms of frustrations. All these drivers will have to jump quickly if they want places, but they are going to have the same story again at the front of the field here. Who stops Jason Smith?
Yeah, remember last week was the first week we saw 3 different winners. Are we going to go back to the usual first and second race with the same winners? Let's wait and see. The top 8, bar 1 person, all started and finished in the top 8. Eyes on Barra Hodson, 16th to 8th in that last race. He could be someone that could really make the difference here. He could really upset the apple cart.
He could. He's someone who made a lot of progress and is trying to do the same. Conditions exactly the same as they were in race 1. More of the same then here in race number 2. Who puts themselves in the right position? Who finds themselves with egg on their face after this race? green flag in the air. We are underway for race 2, and it's a similar story. Everyone falls rank and file into turn number 1. McGoldrick already with a great start, jumps a place, and finally gets his pass on Rory O'Shea completed. They will head up the hill once again into Druids, trying to find this run through, and almost a tap there as they go through and a spin from about 5th position there. That is troubles in tow for Sean McClements.
Yeah, Sean McClements not getting what he wanted there, and he had a little bit of a slide as well, and that's not going to help him. Some battles near the back of the field as well, going side by side. They get themselves back in line. Barra Hodson, all that talk we just had, well, we kind of jinxed them. 2 spots lost at the start of that race as everyone goes rank and file. 9 minutes left in the race. They have 13 laps around here, and those are going to be very tough laps.
They are going to be tough laps. Jason Smith with control of the field. Here comes Doherty looking for 6th position now. That on Rory O'Shea. He's too deep through the corner. He'll skirt through the gravel. He'll lose 1. He might lose 2 because here comes McCann trying to fill up and get himself a place. But Peter, are you there? No, you're not. You're going to have to stay again on the outside heading to Graham Hill.
And a really nice defense, though, from Rohan, because, yes, he had the outside line, but he kept the speed up, and he may get a bit of a help here because Rory O'Shea up ahead having a little bit of a mistake at Graham Hill Bend on that little Cooper straight, and all of a sudden, he draws himself back in. A mistake there from O'Shea. That will allow Doherty through. Can McCann come through as well? They're going to be side by side coming through to the 3rd lap.
Well, it's a case of McCann can or McCann can't as they head to Paddock Hill Bend. Jason Smith with the fastest lap here in race 2. On the outside, Rory O'Shea buys himself freight and train. Jordan Kelly goes through. Cantor goes through, then Jordan Kelly goes through into position. So similar, those two, in terms of car design. But then you start thinking about what Jordan Kelly is doing. He's using that real-world experience to his advantage, giving himself a massive push as he now starts to think about what's next for him. 9th place on the offer, and he's now 1 away from transfer.
He is just in the position he wants to go right now. He's picking them off just how you expected. And now, all of a sudden, he just wants that last spot, but he's going to have to take his time. Mind you, you would like that last spot to get pole position for the final race, but points mean prizes, Jake. We talk about that 8th place, but some of these drivers looking for those battles, they want more. More.
McClements is one of them. Down the inside, thank you very much. He will make the move sorted on Albert Reed in the number 3 machine. So does get a pass, does get another place in the back pocket there with that move. So another one in the mix, but the front 4 are once again in play. It is Smith, Dempsey, Cooper, and then Cooper's rear gunner, Chris Knox, who finds himself in play. Those 2 looking for a really good run. Now, we do have drivers in the pit. Graham Melvin is one of them. So too was Gary Corcoran.
Yeah, Graham Melvin having a little bit of a problem. I believe Corcoran had to come in for some repairs due to a mistake that he had out there. So those drivers having to take the pits and having to take that repair, not what they want to see. But these 4 up ahead, look how close Peter Dempsey is getting to Jason Smith all of a sudden. And he is trying to find a spot here. I think the first race he was being kind and polite. Now all of a sudden, he doesn't care. He wants that goal.
I'm just watching every time over into the grass almost goes Jason Smith. He is pushing the boundaries more than anybody else out there. He is giving 110%. But Peter Dempsey is not going to be perturbed at this point. Will he again try to go to the outside, or is he going to bump him first into the corner and try and get him to dictate pace a different way through Paddock Hill? He's trying to set him up here for Druids at turn 2. It's defended here by Smith, who will hold the middle of the road as he hits the brakes in through turn 2. Dempsey can't do anything about it, but again, he always looks primed and ready if he can to make the move here. At Graham Hill, he struggles a little bit there with oversteer.
But he keeps fighting. He keeps fighting. And that's all you need to do. Keep it on the track. Keep it on the great stuff. And all of a sudden, you're just looking, waiting. That rear camera just showing you exactly how close they are. And all of a sudden, if you're Jason Smith, you do not want to look behind right now. You may be one of the faster drivers. You may be able to tighten the screw when you need to. But there are 3 other guys there battling you. And they all want one thing. They want that first place.
They do, and Jason Smith is going to have to hope that Peter Dempsey's consistency doesn't work, because he's so good over the first 5 to 10 minutes of the race. When it gets after that, he doesn't have a car that's worth it. That's a car off in the gravel, skirting through the opening sector of the lap. That is Isaac Canto, who finds himself now dropping way down the order. In fact, yes, it is.
Yeah, I think he was trying to do an outside move there, and a small mistake there from him did cost him. But Sean McGoldrick right now, he is looking, he's in his own little 4-car party here. And you start to see he's got Doherty, Kelly, McGoldrick, and McCann all together. They're having their own little battle. This is basically, you've got a battle for the first half of the grid and a battle for the second half of the grid right now for that final race. And where do you look? Because Jordan Kelly, he's trying to make a move, almost hit somebody, and he may lose a position due to it.
He may do. He has to cover off himself against McGoldrick. Up into Druids at turn 2, and he's okay. He holds on to the positions as Jason Smith is around. Then out of turn 2, it was waiting and waiting and waiting. It was a bold lunge down the inside by one Mr. Peter Dempsey. It puts then the 2 5-star cars 1 and 2. It's Cooper at the perfect time to take a point, and there's damage for Peter Dempsey.
Yeah, Dempsey trying to fight this. Jason Smith trying to fight this as well. But they're going to have to go into the pits and take all the repairs. They're going to have to quickly go in, get a new car. That puts Jason Cooper in at the lead of the race. Chris Knox will be behind him. They look to be battling. All of a sudden, the 3 different winners is on once again. And also, Jordan Kelly, in 7 minutes, has made up 10 positions. We've got to be talking about that, because even though he's picked up them from the crashes, he is looking dangerous.
Well, it could be 11, because it's Ronan Doherty who he's got next if he wants to try and find that pass. Inside turns to outside here as they run towards Clearway's corner. Not going to happen then at the Jim Clark curve, but look at the up, look at the under. Look at this from Jordan Kelly. Moving up into 3rd, and Sean McGoldrick's going to try and follow his wheel tracks, and Doherty can't shut the door. They head to Paddock Hill Bend. Is this going to be disaster? Traffic stayed nice and good on the inside. Still they'll fight, but McGoldrick's done well. He's got the inside for Druids. Has he got it sorted? You bet he does.
He bet he does, and he's managed to set that up. That was the whole chest thing we were talking about, but the battle's still going. Doherty tries to put his nose there. Does that hinder McGoldrick? No, it hinders Doherty. McCann is now going to have a little bit of danger here, because we're going to look, sorry, Doherty's the one in danger. Is there anything left there for Doherty? He may have overcooked those tires a little bit. He's going to have to cool it down, but what a textbook made by Jordan Kelly.
Let's have a look at what happened earlier on in this race. The GSRC replay on screen for you. That's the move by Peter Dempsey, straight up the inside, but they tangle tyres through the corner. Jason Smith more than gracious enough to leave the room, and then both of them pretty much ending tyre over tea kettle.
Yep, and while that was happening as well, we had a change for the lead, and Chris Knox has that lead, and that's very crucial with 2 laps to go once they cross the line. But all of a sudden, you can just see it there. We're just looking at Chris Knox as well having his battle, but look at this. He is trying to hold on to this. I don't think Chris has had a victory this season. This would be a monumental victory for him if he can hold it. As I'm saying that, I'm cursing the man. He goes wide, and Jason Cooper's on the charge.
Well, he's on the prowl. He wants to get this back. Let them race between those 2. Where does Jason Cooper go? Inside line looking. He will comfortably take the race lead away, but it's back down the hill where he could get that run, and that's where Chris Knox was trying to get that advantage, but no soiree for him. He is going to look at this and think, you know what? I'm going to have to be very, very patient when that last lap comes along. McGoldrick dropping back, though, to 6th position. Through will go Doherty. Through will go McCann.
Yeah, a little bit of tire lock there between Doherty and McCann there. Doherty and McGoldrick there. Just having a little bit of a moment. Doherty going a bit too wide on the exit, and he may be in danger now. Don't think he's got any damage as the white flag does fly. He's going to have to hold on to this P4. And meanwhile, Sean McClements will be at the moment be a de facto pole position for the final race. But it all comes down to who wants those very, very precious 30 points.
Big defensive switch crossing the beams up through Druid. It's Cooper versus Knox as they now drive through, looking to get something off the exit. Crucial to note, Barra Hodgson had made his way back to 8th. He lost it with a mistake. Sean McClements went through. That was a Graham Hill bend a lap ago. But now here is Chris Knox. Can he find something left here as they run themselves towards this Clearways corner? And the final push through the Jim Clark curve. Answer is going to be no. Jason Cooper, is this the win that puts him one hand on the title? He will cross the line and take race 2. 10-minute sprint in his back pocket.
10-minute sprint victory just for him. What a run. And Sean McGoldrick at the end did get past Peter McCann, but then made a mistake at Clark Curve, and he will lose that position back as McCann take that P5. Rory O'Shea does get that P6. Sean McClements just holding on at the end there. What a race that was at the end.
Oh, and Isaac Canto and Ian May, by the way, difference there, 200ths of a second as they cross the line. It's Cooper from Knox, the race result with Jordan Kelly and Ronan Doherty, 3rd and 4th. Peter McCann, Sean McGoldrick, Rory O'Shea and Sean McClements round out the top 8 for the invert. Then Barra Hodgson and Isaac Canto are 9th and 10th positions overall in that race. The big takeaways, though, from it, Peter Dempsey finding himself then way down the order. He finds himself in 15th position. Jason Smith from 16th then for race number 3. They will have it all to do in 20 minutes worth of racing action, Craig.
And now all of a sudden you think they could just take it a little bit easy when it's 20 minutes. That's still going to be almost 30 laps around here. And anything can happen. We always talk about it. Anything can and will happen. Look at the carnage we had at the start of the race, final race last week. You've got to be alert here. And we've seen so many spins and so many tire locks that all of a sudden, just the smallest minute detail, we talk about you can make recoveries. I don't think they're going to make a recovery in a 20-minute race.
It's not easy, but they do have the ability to make those moves if they are patient enough with the way that they drive. We're going to have a chance to talk with some of the drivers here who want to get in and involved with what's going on. We're going to first have a chat with Jordan Kelly. You've walked down the paddock, Craig. You found your way to him.
Yeah, I've got Jordan Kelly here as well. Jordan, that's got to be a roller coaster there. 4th to 14th in the first race, 14th to 3rd in the second race. What was your thought process in that second race?
Well, it was just a matter of trying to get up the pack quick, but I was just thinking about the top 8 reverse more than anything there, because it's just such a short track around here. It's hard to get the overtakes done, but just got a bit unfortunate then with Jason and Peter coming together, which was a bit unfortunate for them too. But I'll take the podium when I can get it, because it's tough.
So that means you start in 6th for the final race of the night. Question is, what is the thought process going through? Because we did see some accidents at the start of last week's feature race. Are you just going to be trying to play damage limitation on the first couple laps and then go for it?
Yeah, probably. Just try not to let because it's going to be Sean starting in 8th there, so he's a lot of pace this week. So just matter of trying not to let him get away too much and try to stay with the front pack. And 20 minutes is a long race around here because it's a lot of laps. So we'll see what we can do then. But just be the head down.
Yeah, we will let you get ready. There's only 2 minutes 20 left. So I think we'll let you get ready, Jordan. We hopefully look forward to hearing from you later in the evening. That was Jordan just popping off because we don't want to let them go on. They got to get in their cars. I don't know if we've got anybody else, Jack. I think you're right next to Jason Smith's car.
I think I am as well, and Jason Smith would be very happy with race 1, not so much with race 2. It looked like for you there, Jason, that you were pretty much in an MMA fight there in that race too, because it looked like Peter Dempsey got a hold of your right rear tire and he didn't want to let go.
Yeah, it was just kind of unfortunate incident. I gave Peter the space, and Peter just went up the inside and hit the curb and just hit me. So I was more or less a passenger in that instance.
Well, you found yourself a passenger there in race 2. You'll have the challenge of driving through the field to get back up through from 16th position on the grid. But in race 1, it looked like you had yourself a car that the way that you could drive it in comparison to others was a little bit more stronger in the second half of the race. Does that give you some confidence?
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah, being quick in the latter stages when the tires can't come in, and just being able to pick your way through and do good lap times
is pretty much everything that is there. We're going to let you go because you've got 1 minute left to get yourself ready for racing. So there you have it, Jason Smith joining us and being in a position where he's going to have to fight hard in this race number 3 coming forward. Craig, race 3s have been some of the best that we have seen over the course of this season. But you look at some of the drivers that you could put in that mix that have gone through, and you're always trying to put yourself in the best position possible. You know, you're looking at some incredible names that have come through and pretty much put their stamp on this circuit. We've listed some names up there on the top, but there are other drivers who have been here who have done well, like the Indy 500 winner, Joseph Newgarden.
Yeah, just name drop the man that just won the biggest race in his career yesterday, a couple of days ago. Yeah, this is a track that is cool, and this is a series as well, when you think about it, has produced a lot of big names due to the racing. And again, we've seen a lot of it on the iRacing service and elsewhere. It has delivered here as we go to grid. Some fantastic races, and we've got 20 minutes to see if we can add our name to that tonight.
Yes, and this is where you are going to have to throw the absolute kitchen sink at it. Sean McClement on the pole, Rory O'Shea alongside for company. Then it's Sean McGoldrick and Peter McCann on road 2. Ronan Doherty and Jordan Kelly will house road 3. Chris Knox from 7th. Jason Cooper in 8th. Barra Hodson and Isaac Canto 9th and 10th to charge forward.
Yep, and there's a quick goes. Ian May in 11th. Dave Collier in 12th. Albert Reid 13th. M. Gandor 14th. Peter Dempsey will take 15th. Jason Smith will be all the way back in 16th. Watch what he can do. 17th for Gary Cochran. Tony Stack will be 18th. And Graham Melvin will be 19th. 19 cars for 20 minutes. I think there's going to be 18 that will finish this with 17 seconds to go. I'm running out the numbers. Let's get racing.
The last Formula Ford Festival winner was an iRacer. It was the American Max Esterson who was able to pick that up. These drivers are the future of sim racing. Who will find themselves the win over 20 minutes as the green flag drops and Sean McClemens gets a decent start. Rory O'Shea has to cover. McGoldrick has been lightning all night off of the line. Drives it into Paddock Hill Bend, trying to take it. O'Shea on the wide line will drive his way around, and they will start to group together up in towards Druids here as they charge. O'Shea is there, and dramas because you got Gandor, who is off the road then in the gravel.
Yeah, Gandor's off in the gravel, and I think he may have also kicked Graham Melvin as well. Both of those guys off, but at the front of the field, you start to see the battle. David Collier's had a moment as well in the backfield, but these guys all weaving and dicing around. Barra, everybody is just making moves at the moment. McClement is starting to pull away from everybody. How vital will that be when we get that later into this race?
There's Jason Smith trying to find the pass through. So too is Jason Cooper. Both Jasons on a charge. It's Cooper versus Knox just in front. Smith gets his pass. So too does Jason Cooper get his pass. So he manages that absolutely fantastically. On the brakes they go. Up the hill into Druids. And these groups know that they can't afford to fight too much. And they are getting as close can be.
Yep, they're just pushing that limit once again.
Whoa!
As we can see, on a big moment there up ahead for Rory O'Shea. Keeps the car on the track, but loses 3 positions to go into P5, and all of a sudden, look at the gap that provides for Sean McClements.
Gone 1 second down the road, and Sean McGoldrick with a lot of work to do to chase him down. McClements had 3 podiums last time out, of course, at Alton Park. He'd want more. Look to the inside. If there's anyone to chase him down, Ronan Doherty is there. So too is Jordan Kelly. Those two could be powder kegs in their own right. Driving into Druid. Big move and a shove out wide, saying mine. Jordan Kelly. Wow.
I believe that's the British term of excuse me very much, sir. I think I need to make a move here. Do you mind if I go forward? And he does go forward. And Cooper's going to get past McGoldrick. They had a little bit of touching on the wheel. But around the outside of McLaren to the inside goes Cooper. He'll take that, and almost a window there. Is there a window? There isn't a window for Pete McCann. McGoldrick's going to keep on pushing ahead. And just look at all these cars at the moment. It's a little bit of a traffic jam here, right here in the nice heartland of Kent.
Well, you've also got Peter Dempsey on the back trying to charge his way back through the field. Knox goes, Dempsey goes, McCann goes, they all go. Jason Smith survives.
Jason Smith just gets by, Ian May gets by, and also Isaac Canto gets by, which is important for the B Series as well. All of those people making moves. Jason Smith taking the fastest lap last time by. He could make some moves, but Jason Cooper now, he's off the pack, but he's slowly catching up to them. He was almost half a second faster than McGoldrick last time by.
1.3, now 1.5, and all of a sudden, Jordan Kelly has to get his moving boots on if he wants to get through and jump up the position. This will be the move in for second, and it is May. As that's happening, Jason Smith, get this, 4 laps through this race, finds himself from 16th to 7th.
We talked about it. We talked about keep your eyes on what Jason Smith can do, and he is providing that answer for me. He has just done fantastic. Kept his nose clean, kept away from everybody, and all of a sudden he is right where he wants to be. Just like Jordan Kelly is where he would like to be, but there'd be another place he wants to be at the moment. He is trying to hold off Rohan Doherty, Rory O'Shea a couple places back from them. But all of a sudden, the cars are starting to provide their own little groups at the moment. There's no big packs at this moment, apart from a 3-car pack. Apart from that, everybody is just trying to find their way around.
Jordan Kelly, though, has that second position. He's going to have to charge. Jason Cooper gets the check mark for the fastest lap of this race, up the hill into Druids, and then right at the top of the plateau, back down the hill again as you find power, and troubles out there on circuit a little bit further back. It looks like Isaac Cantor might be in trouble as Jordan Kelly takes the ultimate grass line as he goes through, and that brings back a place for Ronan Doherty. 2 seconds now, McClements is to the good.
Yeah, got to be careful not to make those sort of mistakes because they can be very costly. But that is why they've also added that little runoff at the top there on the banking of the exit of the Graham Hill Bend, so you can just push a little bit harder. But look at that pack at the back of him now. All of a sudden, going off has provided a 4-car group. Cooper, O'Shea, McGoldrick, Kelly, all together, and at the front, Ronan Doherty is trying to pull away.
He is, and that is key. Doherty's got to try and do something here as O'Shea lets through Jason Cooper. He didn't have a choice of it up at Druids. That was as plain Jane's could be, making that pass. And here is a GSRC replay of just what makes a mistake around here. Heading to turn 1, Paddock Hill Bend, Isaac Canto and Ian May into the side. Once, twice, grabs the tyre, whoops, around you go.
Yeah, that's what you got to be. A little bit of heads up there when trying to make that move side by side. It's very tough, especially with that elevation change and the dip at Paddock Hill. And that is what happens when you make those mistakes. Jason Smith has now made up 9 positions, but it's all quiet on at the western front because up ahead, Jason Cooper trying to find a way. He's trying to set up a move on Sean McGoldrick. In front of him, though, making the moves is Jordan Kelly, as Ronan Doherty was forced to just clip a little bit of the grass.
He was, and thank you very much. That's good. Jason Cooper gets out on the AstroTurf through turn 3. That could have very nearly ended his race right there if he hadn't had the force of strength that he did to keep the car pointing in the right direction. Leaving the door open, though, is Sean McGoldrick, and Jason Cooper doesn't need a second invitation because he is as light and as nimble as a Mini Cooper. He can find a gap anywhere, and he is certainly making it work.
Yeah, he is really having the works put out there at the moment. He's pushing on. Now he's going to make the defense, and the defense, not only did it hold up McGoldrick, O'Shea also had to be held up there. He was going to try and shoot a gap there. There was no gap to be had. These aren't minis, despite his name's Cooper, and that gap was not big enough for a mini.
Certainly wasn't, nor was it big enough for a Fiat Panda or anything else that you could try and find that's small. Smart car might have had a half a chance. P45 would have definitely done a very good job of getting its way through. But you now start thinking about these drivers and the gaps they have. It's 2.3, or it was 2.3, it's now 1.7 seconds at the front because Sean McClements has been reeled in over this last lap. There is Jason Cooper up in 4th, looking behind him at Sean McGoldrick and Rory O'Shea, and he's comfortable through that opening corner. Gains a tenth of a second, but does dip a tyre in the gravel.
But look who's behind them, as you just see in that rear camera. Here's Jason, and he has already started to catch up. Half a second gained on O'Shea McGoldrick last lap. 4/10 gain on Cooper last lap. He is slowly making his way, and he's now in the slipstream of Rory O'Shea. All of a sudden, everyone's got to be worried because Jason Smith has half a race and more to make up even more spots. Not saying he can make the 5 seconds up, but anything can happen.
Well, it's 5.4 last time over the line. He crosses the line, and the gap is 5.1, so he takes 0.3 of a second out that last lap over the race leader, Sean McClement, and he will just continue to search in terms of what moves matter for Jason Smith, who has been so good all season. And we see this with the way that he drives. He has an electric turn of pace, and he is so automatic sometimes with the way that he drives. Look at him, he's not afraid to take every inch out of the racetrack.
Use all the curves, the flat curves here. They got a little bit of a race, but they're not violent. You can use everything you need. And all of a sudden, he's gained 6/10 this lap on Rory O'Shea. All of a sudden, he's in that battle. He has to take them one at a time, but the gap between O'Shea and McGoldrick is starting to expand. And all of a sudden, I see that they're starting to catch up to some lap traffic there. That could also prove very vital in this battle.
It very much could, and a big correction there through Druids for Jason Smith as he now joins the group. Where do you go to attack and gain these places? Rory O'Shea first. He gets a good drive off the exit then of Graham Hill Bend. Does he now have a chance to make the move? No, he doesn't. So he has to sit in the wheels and wait for a chance to open up. Thinks about the inside. He's going to stick his car where it belongs for him, which is straight through and making that pass happen. Immediately up to 6th. No arguments from Rory O'Shea. He left the door open.
Yeah, Rory O'Shea trying to look to see if he can make a move around into Paddock Hill. Not going to happen. Lap car lets them go by, but that also allows Jason Smith to get a nice little run here. Maybe clipping the gravel. No, he does not. All of a sudden, he is on the back of McGoldrick, and look how much speed he carries into the corners. If the question isn't can, the question is when will Jason Smith make these moves?
Well, Sean McGoldrick might be one thing. I think Jason Cooper would absolutely be another out there on track. I don't think he'd want to allow Jason Smith the chance to go through so easily. And here comes Jason Smith again, attacking through the chicane, the left then the right, to make the pass. And Jason Smith is the only one who seems to be able to make that consistently.
He's making the moves, and I also want to check the lap time again. He goes for the fastest lap time again, a 48.198. We haven't seen times like this even during qualifying. The track hasn't even cooled down. It's 1 degree cooler compared to what it has been, and he is still pushing. And the key thing here is he's catching the leaders. Remember I said, can he do it? That gap now to Sean McClement is 3.7 seconds. Yeah, I think Jason's on here. We've got to keep our eyes on.
Well, you got to look at the front too, because Jordan Kelly is with inside a second, and he looks for Jason Cooper this time up the inside. On the championship leader, Jason Smith is putting on a clinic, but Jason Cooper is the only one who can hold it around the outside as they rush towards Paddock Hill Bend. He gets the overlap clear, and he's through. It costs him all the time he'd have made this lap, but that is big in terms of what Jason Smith's trying to do. 1 second the gap now at the front of the field, and Jordan Kelly's hurry up notice has suddenly got a little bit quicker.
Yeah, if this was Peloton cycling at the moment, the guys in the lead pack would be getting the call saying, Peloton's catching, Peloton's catching. Well, that's just what they're getting right now. They're being told, hey, you know that Jason Smith? Yeah, he's back. He's fighting, and he's so close to you. Can you push? What have you got? Because let's be real, Jason Smith had a time that was faster than the leaders while battling Jason Cooper last time by.
That shows you all you need to know, just how well he's been racing out there, just how important every position is. We do also have Peter Dempsey there in 10th position, and he just about manages his way around Gary Corcoran. He'll have Tony Stack next to get by. Tony Stack, by the way, up 9 places of his own so far.
Yeah, hats off to Tony Stack as well for that place, because he didn't have a very good first race.
Go
and
on,
he didn't
Gary.
to try and do it. Well, go on, Gary, because he's trying the best he can. Gary Corcoran really trying to get the points here. It'd be very helpful for him in this battle. I don't think it's going to be very good at the moment, but what a drive from Tony, what a drive from Peter, what a drive from Gary. Everybody at the back of the field doing very well and making up these moves. Tony is +9 this race, by the way.
He is. Rory O'Shea now has his eyes full of 7 up, looking to try and get himself up into 6th position. And can he open up that chance? Answer's no. McCann on the exit, or the entry, sorry, of Paddock Hill Bend wouldn't have been very helpful as he went through. But now they've got to think about, okay, we've got to go. And speaking of drivers who have got to go, the gap is half a second all of a sudden at the front of the field. Sean McClements is going to have to go, and he's looking for his first race win of the season. He is 6.5 minutes away from it, but he's got to hold Jordan Kelly off.
Well, that's not just Jordan Kelly he's got to hold off right here, because he can hold off Jordan Kelly, but then what about Rowan? What about Jason? All of a sudden, it is now turning into a little bit of a group fight with 6 minutes to go. You've got to keep your eyes on these times now. It's got to be rhythm. It's got to be consistency from Sean. He does not need to be mirror watching. Just Jordan goes for a move here. Don't be afraid to fight it, but you don't need to be aggressive on the defense right now. Sean just has to play this calm, cool and collective, which is tough to do when it's 37C out there.
Oh, it very much is, but Sean McClements isn't changing his line. He's not averting anything at the moment that he doesn't have to. There's a car slow on the left-hand side. That will be then going through Ian May, staying out of the way of everyone. Up through the left, then the right. Get yourself planted through this right-hander. Get a run here. You've got a chance at Paddock Hill Bend, and he's just doing enough here, is Sean McClements, and I mean just, to keep himself in play. It's nearly a 1/10 of a second's margin at the front. It's not going to be enough for Jordan Kelly to have a lunge into Paddock Hill Bend, but he does take a much wider line through the corner, which drops him a 1/10 through that section, because he will not now, Jordan Kelly, get the run up at Druids.
I think he was braking a little bit later there and just got caught up by McClement being a little bit slower into the entry, and I think that just caught him off. That brought Dr. Heat into this fray at the moment. Jason Cooper isn't here yet, but don't say nothing yet, because he could still do that. The gap between McClement and Smith is only 2.8 seconds, but anything can happen in these final 4 minutes. Kelly needs to try and find a way. He can't find a way through McClement, and all of a sudden, I think that moment into Paddock Hill was his first shot at trying to make a move. When is he going to get his next one? Because he does not feel close enough to make another.
Not yet. 4:22 on the clock. He's got to try and really make it happen. Up at Druids, he could think about it. There's traffic that could work as a pick in front, which is Dave Collier, who is looking for B Championship points out there. But Clements is doing just about enough. And let's not forget Ronan Doherty in all of this. If those top two decide they want to tango, that could be dramas all days of the week. As close as you can possibly get then, through the left and right at Surtees, in towards clearways. And once more, Sean McClements just has enough, and he'll pick up a slight toe on this straight, which will give him just enough of an advantage.
And Kelly has to go for a little move himself. Can he try and do this? And he decides against it, trying to set himself up for a move down into the Pilgrim drop. What can he do at this moment? Here he goes. Can he go for... No, he's not even going to send it. This is the smart play here from Kelly. Yes, he wants that victory, but he knows he doesn't have to be aggressive to go here. He sends it, he holds them all up, and that's not what he wants. He's going to keep this calm as well. Both drivers are driving under pressure, but I tell you what, you wouldn't be able to see it with just how calm and how smooth they're driving right now.
Sean McClements is driving a fantastic race. Jordan Kelly trying to use all his real-world experience to get in there, but it's a great exit by Sean McClements. He gains a half a car length off of that exit alone. The slipstream will gather that back up, and he goes right to the inside, moves back to the outside to take the natural line here through Paddock Hill. 2:49 on the clock. He again holds that station and does so well. But at Druids, can you send a lunge? A little first look then into the mirrors from Jordan Kelly. He's starting to go to the Sim Racers 101 handbook.
Yeah, he's starting to ask the questions, and Sean has the answers right now. So let's see what he's able to do in the next 2 minutes. They're only going to have 3 laps to go when they come across the line. But again, a nice run through McLaren into Clark. They're almost touching, but if Kelly gets close to McClements here in the middle of Clark, is that a hindrance for him? Because he has to get out the throttle a little bit, and now this is the closest he's been all the time. There's nowhere to go. He can't even sell a dummy. Great defense from McClements.
He's struggling there, but how's the drive off the exit? That's what he's been setting up here as Jordan Kelly again doesn't quite find it. Can't quite get it with 150. 2 laps to go as he tried to guarantee Ronan Doherty out of this race. Jason Smith is agonizingly close to Ronan Doherty at 1.4 seconds adrift, and he's just not closing. He's just running out of time, and the steam engine is running out of puff.
It's almost like the steam engine can't make it to that stop, because all of a sudden Jason Smith unable to beat the lap time. That's right, Sean McClements is matching him. That is the drive that McClements is doing right now. He's matching drivers that are above his weight here at the moment. What can he continue on? And again, Kelly with no move, and I think that was a little slide from Kelly.
Kelly is throwing everything at it, gets a big run through the hill, and he again can't quite get it done at turn 2. Little bit of a wider line. Doherty is now there in 3rd position, and it will be the white flag next time by. McClements is doing everything he can.
Brilliant driving from McClements, and he just has to hold off one more time. If he can hold it here, you've got to feel that he has a chance. And an interesting, a different line from Jordan Kelly this time. Maybe, with the way the angle of the car is, he may be able to set himself up this time. Now is the time you go for it with white flag here. 1 more lap to go. Side by side, they'll start the final lap.
To the outside of Paddock Hill Bend to make this move. Has he got the magic? Jordan Kelly switched back to the inside. Not there at Druids. You're running out of chances, Sunshine, and Doherty gets closer and closer still. Sean McClements has been titanic with his defense so far. He's hoping there's no hole in the armors yet. He's hoping for no iceberg. Now he will run through the left and right, and he needs to be calm through this section. Jordan Kelly opens up the road. He tries to drive for the exit. There are no heartbreaks here in this hotel. Sean McClements will take his first win of the series, and wow, sweet a defense it was.
That is textbook defending. Great racing from Sean McClements. In the background, Jason Smith has to solidify that P4. Cooper will take the 5th. Some fantastic driving all the way around that I want to give a shout out as well, because Dave Collier picks up some very crucial points in the B series as well. He got maybe a lap down, but he gets ahead of Isaac Canto, and that will be some very crucial points in the B series as well. But it's all McClements' day to savour.
Peter Dempsey, P10, that's going to be something that haunts him. Had a real chance to pull the gaps back in, but it will all come down to 3 final races in this championship, and it is all about what you've got coming up forward. We're going to step aside for one final time, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, post-race coverage here of your RTA Virtual Motorsports FF1600 Championship. It wasn't simple in the end. You just had to defend and put the car in the right places. That was the key for number 6, Sean McClement. His victory in 20 minutes and 21 seconds was enough to win by 0.08 of a second over Jordan Kelly behind. Ronan Doherty will round out the podium in 3rd place. The Jasons followed up. Smith, then Cooper. Cooper may be well on his way to an RTA title with his 5th position that he's got. Sean McGoldrick will be 6th with Rory O'Shea 7th. Then it's Chris Knox, Tony Stack in 9th position, and Peter Dempsey. A lonely race for him, and an owner of a lonely heart will only get P10.
And we get to the second page. Gary Corcoran finishes 11th, but here's the key thing. He won the B Series race. See, that takes points away from Dave Collier in that battle for the championship. Barra Hodson will finish in 12th position, and then it'll be Albert Reed, who started 3rd and finished 3rd. Dave Collier had some issues out there, had to take a pit stop, finish a lap down in 14th position, and the same happened to Peter McCann. And M. Gandor for Simsa also having some issues out there. He finished a lap down. And in May, was unfortunately hit the incident limits there, will finish 17th. Isaac Canto will finish 18th, and unfortunately in that battle to try and get some B Series points, not good for him. He also had to take some serious damage to repairs. Graham Melvin as well, I don't believe had got past the first lap after having some issues at the start as well. We started with 19, we finished with 19 for the whole night.
That's always promising to see. What will also be promising is the fact that we have drivers here waiting to chat with us. Sean McClement joins us now. Sean, it's been a long season in terms of trying to build up a result, trying to find a finish out there, but it's only gone from strength to strength. This, your first victory of the season, and you had to earn it the hard way by driving some lights out laps in the final 5 minutes of that race.
Yeah, it's been a long season. I've just got into the swing of these cars, found a bit of pace with these cars, so I'm just happy with the result. To tell you the truth, Jordan and Ronan behind me, both really quick drivers. So I knew if I just got a gap at the front, that I could pull that bit of a gap. And once Jordan and Ronan sort of caught back up to me, I knew I could defend around here because of how little overtaking opportunities there was around here. So I knew as long as I was ahead and had that gap at the front, I knew that I would do well.
You had that gap. You were able to manufacture everything that you had available to you. But now you start thinking about, okay, well, what's gone into this effort and how important have these results been? You now start to think about the championship as a whole. That going from strength to strength, are you in a position right now where you're thinking, you know what? This has been a season where I've learned what it takes to find pace out there on circuit, and that my development over the season has been my biggest strength.
Yeah, I'm just sort of at the bit of the season where this is the quickest I've ever been in RTA, so it's just been lots of long nights practicing, just getting used to the track, used to the cars, and like just finding them extra few tenths. It's been really hard, but thanks to Jason Smith and Jordan Kelly throughout the whole season, just for giving me a helping hand and telling me a few tips and pointers for each track and telling me where I'm going wrong. So just thanks to them guys for giving me that wee bit of age to get me that extra few tenths.
1 week, Silverstone National. What's the thought process going in there? Are you going in there thinking you want to spoil some drivers' parties? Or are you there thinking, you know what? I am now one of the quick drivers. I'm there to win races. Move out my way.
For Silverstone National, because again it's such a short track, just that long straight, I'm hoping, I think I have a pace for a podium at least, but I'm just hoping for that top spot. Hopefully I can put the effort in and get the practice in, and hopefully that I can secure that top spot again.
Well, we hope that it happens for you, Sean. Before we let you go, anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, just a thanks to all the lads at RTA that sort of run the whole league, and thanks to Jason and Jordan throughout the whole season for giving me them extra few tips and pointers each night just to get me to where I am. So I'll just thanks to all them guys.
Well, no worries at all there. Sean McClements, a huge result for him. A victory of the highest caliber. Craig, you've had a wander down the paddock, and I believe you found yourself back with Jordan Kelly again, who's had that up and down night and manages to find second place overall.
Yeah, I just love this garage. I'm still with Jordan Kelly again, and Jordan, you managed to get that P2. It looked to be a cracking race there. It almost looked like you were trying to just wait for the right opportunity, because there were some points that you probably could have sent it in, but it almost looked like you were also thinking about not trying to bring everyone involved.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of people behind catching quick, especially when I seen Jason Smith get past Jason Cooper. It was just, if you start battling, I think I was just we were gonna lose too much time. I just wanted to try something in the last lap, but didn't come about. So, but it was great to see Sean finally get a win this season, because he has been trying hard for it. So, no, it's good to see it, and good clean racing.
Yeah, it was good to see as well. I want to pick up something, because I did notice in a couple of those laps near the end, you were trying different lines around Clark Curve at the end and also going down to Paddock Hill. Were you testing the waters, or were you just trying to make sure that you had some clear air in front of you and you got your nose clean away from Sean?
Yeah, I think I just didn't want to sit too close behind him, because if I sat too tight, as what happened to me in the first race, my nose got caught under I think it was Jason Cooper's gearbox, and it actually made me spin. That's what happened in race 1. So I didn't want the same thing to happen. So I was just trying to keep the nose of that area and keep a nice clean race.
So of course, you are in that championship battle. I know it's a bit of an outside shot, however, it's still there. You've managed to get some vital points here tonight, even though that first race did not go how it was planned. Next week, we're at Silverstone. What are your expectations there? I know you're still looking to see if you can push for that victory, but you've got to be looking to try and see if you can solidify a P2 at least.
Yeah, well, I wish I could, but unfortunately, I'm heading to to America now next Monday, so that's actually put me out of that chance altogether, unfortunately, because we're going to do a race over in Pittsburgh in the Formula V's over there. So um, we'll be watching on though, seeing who gets that championship win. But good luck to all of them, and hopefully there'll be some more clean racing next week.
I can just picture you, Jordan, just landing at Pittsburgh International Airport with the phone out, waiting to see where the guys are. So before that goes, it's a shame that we won't be able to see you next week. It's been an honor to see you drive. It's fantastic driving. Jordan, the floor is all yours for any final thank yous.
No, just thanks for you guys for putting on a great stream all season, because it's great to watch back and see how enthusiastic you are with it and all. And thanks to all of Team Dolan and the RTA lads for putting on the championship, because it wouldn't be a Tuesday night without the RTA League. So thanks to them, and hopefully we'll be back more for next season.
Well, Jordan, thank you very much. It's been great to see you, and have a safe flight and some good racing in the real world. That, for the last time this season, was Jordan Kelly, Jake. I believe we may find somebody else in the paddock here, and I believe you might be with Rowan Doherty.
I will be. Jordan Kelly, of course, will be racing in the Formula V 60th celebration, which will be a celebration over at the Pittsburgh International Race Complex in Wampum, I believe Wampum, Pennsylvania, then going forward. Ronan Doherty, though, third position, a really important third place in terms of what was made up of the night. Ronan, you had yourself an up and a down and an all-around style race. You went from 6th to 9th, 9th to 4th, and then 5th to 3rd in that race number 3. Just talk us through your night and what it meant to build the blocks of your racing.
Well, yeah, look, firstly, apologies for if there's any bad audio. My Discord and my PC is not working tonight, so I'm on my phone. But yeah, look, I've been at university the last couple of months, the last 6 months really, so I haven't really been doing any sim racing, and that's really affected my form, you know. I went from being at the front to just being those couple of tenths off, and it's not even my 1 lap pace, it's more my, I'm just making mistakes spinning when I never used to, so I'm just on for a bit of fun, really. I've only done 3 rounds of this championship, and yeah, look, I'm just making those mistakes. I'm just a bit rusty, so it's always good fun coming back up through the pack.
You're coming back up through the pack. You're finding the moves. You're finding the places. Talk us through what makes sim racing for you really fun, because for you, it seems like every time you're out there, you're looking to try and learn, you're looking to try and improve. As you've said, you've been away from the sim. So what does coming back into the sim, into a weekly championship like this, bring to you as a sim racer?
It's fantastic, you know, but Formula 4, the cars are so close because of the slipstream. And also this track, I mean, I think everyone's pretty much within a 10th in the top 6, which is really close. So it's great for racecraft, you know, it's amazing racing. Of course, sometimes there's incidents, but look, that's racing. And yeah, it's a good preparation tool for whenever you get in the real car as well. You know, it's just everyone's a bit more sharp, and you do learn racecraft from it as well.
So talk us through then Silverstone next week. Is that something you're looking to challenge, or are you stuck on dissertation?
No, well, I am free next week, you know, so I've done all my exams, so I'll hopefully do Silverstone. It's going to be pace isn't really going to matter. It's going to be all about track position and staying out of the incidents. I mean, coming down into the complex is going to be key. It's going to be just like the Walter Hayes Trophy, you know, in real life, and you know, you just got to stay alive and make sure you stay within the slipstream. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one, and it should be great racing as tonight was.
Floor is yours, Ronan. Shout outs or anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, well, I'd just like to thank everyone behind the scenes at RTA. You know, it's a fantastic championship, and anyone out there, I recommend to join it. And also, I want to shout out Sean. He's actually my cousin, and he's only gotten into sim racing. You know, it might have been a year ago around this time, and you know, he's made amazing improvements in this season. You know, he's definitely one of the fastest. You know, I came back and he's faster than me. He caught me off guard, but it's amazing to see him get the win. You know, and he absolutely drove brilliantly tonight, soaking up all that pressure.
While pressure being soaked up by those at the top. For you, a P3, an all-important result. Ronan Doherty there joining us, a 3rd position overall that he can definitely have a huge smile about. But that is going to do for us here tonight when it comes to action around this beautiful, beautiful Brands Hatch track. Want to give a massive thanks to the team who has been here today, of course, from Craig, from Daniel, and from Dougie as well. You can catch all of our stuff here on the Global SimRacing Channel by following our socials out there. Our Twitch, of course, our YouTube, because that's where you're watching it, as well as many others. Here is a special thanks, though, to some of the companies that help get it done. Special thanks, of course, to June Lalonde. Her music is fantastic. You can catch that out on Bandcamp at this moment in time. In terms of upcoming events, they'll be cycling across your screen as it goes, but 1 week from today, the title will be decided. Is it Cooper? Is it Kelly? Or is it Dempsey? It is going to be about who has enough of a margin when the drop round points are calculated together. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you at Silverstone.
Yeah.